Introducing today's star, a girl known for her charmingly insensitive nature. She may be young, but she's already experienced the highs and lows of life. Born into a renowned Xianzhou family of swordsmiths, her life took a tragic turn when her father forged a cursed Heliobus sword, which resulted in a tragedy that claimed her parents' lives. Confronted with these drastic life changes, she accepted them with grace and determination, dedicating herself to eliminating the cursed swords and atoning for her father's sins. To date, she has successfully hunted down 312 cursed swords. Despite everything she's been through, she still maintains her innocent nature. She's outspoken, sometimes to a fault, and she loves food, fun, and swords. Introducing the talented and radiant young swordmaster, Yunli! And now, let's welcome today's guest, another talented swordmaster, Yanqing! This episode is so full of expertise, feels like my presence is hardly needed.
Mr. Owlbert, you're always so modest. It's an honor for me to assist with commentating on sword moves, but in terms of hosting, you're absolutely the best.
What a kid! All youngsters raised by the Xianzhou generals are just so charming.
You're too kind.
Now let's learn more about Yunli. Yunli is a physical-type character following the path of destruction who stands out from the crowd with her massive sword. Calling it a sword doesn't do it justice. It's huge, broad, and heavy. It looks more like a huge chunk of iron.
Yunli can effortlessly lift 1,000 pounds. Her strength is definitely impressive, but when it comes to swordplay, it's not just about brute strength.
When using her basic attack, Yunli moves with her sword, dealing physical damage based on her attack to the target enemy. When using her skill, Yunli charges her sword and throws it with great force, restoring a portion of her HP based on her attack, and deals a heavy blow, causing physical damage to the target and adjacent enemies based on her attack. This sword can also be used as a boomerang!
Any normal person wouldn't, nor would a typical swordmaster. But considering old metal is sacrificing speed for inertia, it's a valid strategy, I guess.
Oh, metal?
That's the giant sword's name.
That's pretty appropriate. Thanks to Yunli's talent, she regenerates energy after getting hit and counters immediately. She swings old metal to hit the attacker and adjacent enemies, dealing physical damage based on her attack. That's what I call payback.
Yunli doesn't hold grudges. She's quick to resolve things. What I mean is, she's all about settling the score right away.
You got that right. When Yunli uses her ultimate, Yunli feigns retreat to gain parry. This taunts all enemies until the end of the next unit's turn.
Seems like this battle-ready stance is more powerful than the defensive one just now.
Exactly. When Yunli is in a parry state and it's attacked, she removes parry and counters with Intuit Call. This not only deals physical damage to the enemy and adjacent targets based on her attack, but also hits a random enemy multiple times with physical damage based on her attack. If Yunli isn't attacked during the parry state, she will use Intuit Slash on the enemy when the parry state ends. Intuit Slash deals physical damage to a random enemy and their adjacent targets based on her attack. Both Intuit Call and Intuit Slash are considered as ultimate damage.
Yunli is great at using old metal's weight to turn defense into offense. This is completely opposite to my style of using a light sword.
You two have such distinct approaches to sword fighting. Now, I'm really curious. If you two dueled for a few rounds, who would win?
Obviously me. But who can say for sure until we get in the ring?
Not taking the bait, huh? After unlocking a specific trace, while Yunli is in the parry state, she can reduce incoming damage by a certain percentage and resist crowd control debuffs.
If you're serious about practicing defensive counters, then you need to be as prepared as Yunli.
After Yunli uses her technique, she gains ward for a certain duration. If she is attacked or actively attacks during this period, she will instantly use Intuit Call on a random enemy with boosted damage.
I read about this move in a book. It focuses on countering rather than speed.
That sword is way too heavy. I'm not surprised it can't move quickly.
I once suggested she lighten her sword a bit. She told me I didn't appreciate the sword's personality. So she said she was going to rescue the swords in my collection.
In conclusion, as a character following the path of destruction, Yunli's core mechanic lies in her 3 counterattacks. her talent counter, Intuit Slash, and Intuit Call. The last is the strongest of the three, so it makes sense in real combat situations to ensure Yunli is attacked before her ultimate's parry state ends, in order to trigger Intuit Call and enhance her team's overall damage. Now let's dive into some real combat to gain a deeper understanding of how to trigger Intuit Call. Malefic Ape strikes first, targeting Yunli. She immediately counters, fully charging her ultimate's energy. Note that our allies and then the enemy will take their actions first. Although Yunli is ready to use her ultimate, its timing will significantly impact its damage output. If Yunli immediately uses her ultimate and enters the parry state with an ally acting next, Yunli will trigger into its slash. Even though two enemies take a heavy hit, they still manage to stand their ground. If Yunli bides her time and waits for the Trailblazer to use their skill and attack Malefic Ape, she can time her ultimate to enter the parry state just before the abundant sprite Golden Hound makes a move. Then, the Golden Hound will attack Yunli during parry, triggering her devastating Intuit Call. Unable to withstand old Metal's ferocity, the Hound is first to leave the battlefield. Seeing the tide turn, Malefic Ape decides to strike first. However, Yunli uses her ultimate to parry again. Malefic Ape can't stop in time and attacks Yunli, triggering Intuit Call for the second time. Old Metal doesn't hesitate, taking Malefic Ape out of the game immediately. Whew. Word of advice, when you're out and about, don't provoke any swordmasters, especially little ones who don't wear any shoes.
As long as I'm around, he'll be perfectly safe.
Ha! Now that's reassuring. If you two took on an apprentice, I bet one of you would train him hard, while the other would look after them, right?
When it comes to mentoring, I'm actually really worried.
Worried Yunli is gonna be too hard on them?
My main worry is that our training styles clash.
Clash? How so?
Yunli wants the apprentice to do 50 sets of strength exercises and run 3 miles every day. I prefer 10 sets of strength exercises and 15 miles of cardio. Neither of us can convince the other. Our apprentice is arriving soon, and we haven't finalized our training plan.
So you both like to train hard. Well, why not meet halfway and combine your training techniques?
Mr. Owlbert, you're absolutely right! We'll get the apprentice to do 50 sets of strength exercises and run 15 miles every day!
That poor apprentice really has it rough.